Captain Daeho Kim looked out at the stars from the bridge of his ship. The UES Harmony was flying near the edge of human space, checking for any problems. It was a quiet job, but someone had to do it. Daeho had been doing these patrol runs for 3 years now. Nothing exciting ever happened out here. "Captain," called Bora Park from her station. She was the communications officer and had been with the ship for 2 years. "I'm getting a strange signal." Daeho walked over to her station. "What kind of strange?" Bora frowned at her screen. "It's not from any human ship or station. The frequency is weird too. Our equipment shouldn't even be able to pick it up." "Could it be from one of our alien friends?" Daeho asked. Humans had made contact with 17 different alien species over the past 100 years. Most of them were friendly enough. "I don't think so," Bora said. "The signal is encrypted with something I've never seen before. It's very complex." Daeho called over Taemin Lee, their AI specialist. Taemin was young but very smart with computers. "Can you look at this signal?" "Bora says it's encrypted." Taemin sat down at a computer and started working. His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard. "This is interesting," he said after a few minutes. "The encryption is very advanced, much more advanced than anything humans use. Even more advanced than what our alien friends have shown us. Can you break it?" Daeho asked. "Maybe," Taemin said. "But it will take time. Maybe days." Daeho thought about it. They could report the signal to Earth Command and let them handle it. But he was curious. In 3 years of patrol duty, this was the most interesting thing that had happened. "Do it," he said. "But keep this quiet for now. I want to know what we're dealing with before we tell anyone." For the next 3 days, Taemin worked on the encryption. He barely slept and ate very little. The rest of the crew watched him work, wondering what the signal might contain. Finally, on the 4th day, Taemin called everyone to the bridge. "I broke it," he said. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, but he looked excited. "You need to hear this." He played the signal through the ship's speakers. The voice that came out was not human. It was not like any of the alien voices they had heard before either. It sounded old and cold. "Emergency session of the Galactic Council," the voice said. "All representatives must attend. The matter concerns the human problem. We must discuss Emergency Resolution 2847 regarding the species that was never meant to exist. The protocols established before their awakening must be reviewed. Time is running out." The voice gave coordinates to a location in space. Then it said something that made everyone on the bridge feel cold. Emergency Resolution 847. Humans were never meant. The bridge was quiet for a long time. Finally, Bora spoke. "Galactic Council? We've never heard of any Galactic Council." "And what do they mean by never meant to exist?" asked Jin Woo Choi, the tactical officer. Daeho felt a chill run down his spine. "Play it again," he told Taemin. They listened to the message 3 more times. Each time it sounded worse. Someone out there was talking about humans like they were a problem that needed to be solved. A problem that should never have existed in the first place. "Captain," said Mi Young Song, their xenobiologist. "This doesn't make sense. We know 17 alien species. We have trade agreements with most of them. We have peace treaties. If there was some kind of galactic government, why wouldn't they tell us about it?" "Maybe," said Hyun Woo Nam, their data analyst. "They weren't supposed to tell us." That thought made everyone even more uncomfortable. Had their alien friends been lying to them? Had they been reporting on humans to some secret council? Daeho looked at the coordinates the voice had given. They were for a place between star systems, far from any planet or space station that humans knew about. "Sir," Jinwoo said, "we should report this to Earth Command right away." Daeho knew Jinwoo was right. This was too big for one patrol ship to handle, but he also knew what would happen if they reported it. Earth Command would panic. They would want to send a fleet to investigate. That might start a war. "What if we're wrong?" Daeho asked. "What if this is some kind of trick or mistake? We would cause panic for nothing." "But what if we're right?" Bora said. What if there really is a secret council talking about destroying humanity? Daeho looked around at his crew. They were good people, smart people. He trusted them with his life every day. They had intercepted this message by accident. Maybe they were meant to hear it. How long would it take us to reach those coordinates? He asked Jinwoo. Jinwoo checked his navigation computer. About 2 days at full speed. And how long could we stay there and still have enough fuel to get back to human space? Maybe 3 days if we're careful. Daeho made his decision. We're going to investigate, but we're not going in blind. Taemin, I want you to prepare all our stealth systems. Jinwoo, make sure our weapons are ready, but keep them powered down. Mi-young, start thinking about what we might find out there. Hyunwoo, I want you to copy all our data and hide it in places where it can't be easily found or destroyed. Captain, Bora said, are you sure about this? If there really is a galactic council, and they really do want to harm humans, we might not come back. Daeho looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, in the darkness between worlds, people were meeting to talk about humanity's fate. They were making decisions that could affect every human being alive, and they were doing it in secret. We're explorers, he said. It's our job to find the truth, even when it's dangerous. Especially when it's dangerous. The Harmony changed course and headed toward the coordinates. As they flew through space, each crew member thought about what they might find. None of them could imagine how much their discovery would change everything. Behind them, human space continued its normal activities. People went to work, children went to school, ships carried cargo between planets. No one knew that their entire understanding of the galaxy was about to change forever. The Harmony flew on through the darkness, carrying 6 humans toward a truth that would shake the foundations of everything they believed about their place in the universe. 2 days later, the Harmony reached the coordinates from the strange message. At first, the crew saw nothing but empty space and a dark planet floating alone between the stars. The planet had no sun to warm it. It was just a cold rock drifting through the darkness. Are you sure this is the right place? Daeho asked Jinwoo. Jinwoo checked his instruments again. Yes, sir. These are exactly the coordinates from the message. Run a deep scan, Daeho ordered. There has to be something here. Taemin worked on the sensors while the others waited. After an hour, he looked up with surprise on his face. Captain, you need to see this. The main screen showed the scan results. The planet looked normal from the outside, but inside it was hollow. There were huge empty spaces carved out of the rock. And in the biggest space, there was something that made everyone stare in amazement. Is that a space station? Bora asked. It's huge, Jinwoo said. Bigger than any station humans have ever built. The station was hidden inside the planet, protected by thousands of meters of rock. It was old, very old. The design was unlike anything in human records. Strange curves and angles that seemed to follow patterns the human eye could barely understand. Look at this, Mi-young said, pointing at her screen. I'm detecting ships docked at the station. Lots of them. Jinwoo ran the ship signatures through their database. His face went pale. Captain, these are ships from the alien species we know. The Veltari, the Kresh, the Mordani, even the peaceful ones from Kepler 442. Our friends? Daeho asked. All of them, Jinwoo confirmed. Every species we have trade agreements with. Their ships are all here. The crew looked at each other with growing worry. Their alien friends were attending this secret meeting about humanity. They were part of whatever this galactic council was planning. How do we get inside? Daeho asked. Taemin studied the planet's surface. There's an opening on the dark side. It looks like a docking bay. But Captain, if we go in there, they'll see us. Not if we use the stealth systems, Daeho said. Can you get us close without being detected? Maybe, Taemin said. But once we're inside, I can't promise we'll stay hidden. Daeho thought about their options. They could turn around and go home. They could report what they had found to Earth Command. Or they could risk everything to learn the truth. We're going in, he decided. But carefully, very carefully. The Harmony activated its stealth systems and moved toward the planet. The ship became almost invisible to sensors, like a ghost in space. They found the opening Timon had spotted and flew through it into a massive docking bay. The bay was enormous, big enough to hold hundreds of ships. Alien vessels of all sizes and designs filled the space. The crew recognized ships from every species humanity had ever met. But there were others too, ships with designs they had never seen before. "How many species are represented here?" Mi-young asked. Hyun-woo was counting. "At least 30 different ship designs. Maybe more. Some of these species we've never even heard of." They found a dark corner of the docking bay and landed the Harmony behind some cargo containers. The ship was small enough to hide among the other equipment scattered around the bay. "Now what?" Bo-ra asked. "Now we explore," Dae-ho said. "But we stay together, and we stay quiet. If we're caught, we're probably dead." The crew put on their spacesuits and left the ship. The docking bay had atmosphere, but they didn't know if humans could breathe it safely. Better to be careful. The station was even more impressive from the inside. The walls curved in impossible ways, covered with symbols and patterns that seemed to shift when they weren't looking directly at them. The architecture was beautiful, but alien in a way that made their human minds feel uncomfortable. "This design," Mi-young said, studying the walls. "I've seen pictures of something like this before, in very old alien texts. I think this belongs to the architects." "The architects?" Dae-ho asked. "A legendary race," Mi-young explained. "Most aliens think they're just a myth. Supposedly they were the first species to achieve interstellar travel, but they disappeared thousands of years ago." "Maybe they didn't disappear," Timon said. "Maybe they just hid." The crew moved deeper into the station, following corridors that seemed to go on forever. They passed rooms filled with strange equipment and what looked like massive computer systems. Everything was old but well maintained. Finally, they found what they were looking for: a huge room filled with data storage devices. The walls were covered with screens showing star charts, species information, and files labeled with dates going back thousands of years. "This is incredible," Hyun-woo said, connecting his portable computer to one of the systems. "These files contain information about every known species in the galaxy." He started downloading data while the others kept watch. The information was amazing and terrifying. There were detailed records of alien civilizations, their technologies, their cultures, their histories. Everything was cataloged and analyzed. "Look at this," Hyun-woo said, his voice shaking. "These files show that the Galactic Council has existed for over 50,000 years. They have records of every species' development from the moment they discovered fire to the day they achieved space travel." "Every species?" Dae-ho asked. "Every species except one," Hyun-woo said. "There's no file for humans, no records of our development. It's like we don't exist in their system." Mi-young looked at more files. "Wait, there is something. A recent file marked anomaly species. Urgent review required. It's about humans." She opened the file and read it out loud. "Species designation: human. Origin: Sol 3, Earth. Status: unguided development. Threat level: unknown. Notes: this species developed outside council oversight. Their technological and social progress does not match any known patterns. Immediate review required. Unguided development," Bo-ra repeated. "What does that mean?" Before anyone could answer, they heard footsteps in the corridor outside. Heavy footsteps that didn't sound human. "Hide," Dae-ho whispered. The crew quickly shut down their equipment and hid behind the large data storage units. Through the door came 3 aliens. One was Veltari, one was Kresh, and the third was from a species they didn't recognize. The aliens were talking in a language the humans didn't understand. The aliens checked some of the computer systems and then left. The humans waited until they were sure the aliens were gone before coming out of hiding. "We need to see more," Dae-ho said. "We need to understand what unguided development means and why they think we're a threat." Hyun-woo went back to downloading files. "Captain, look at this. Every species in the galaxy follows similar development patterns. Their technology advances at predictable rates. Their societies develop in similar ways. It's like they're all following the same plan. Or like someone is guiding them," Taman said. Exactly, Hyunwoo said. But humans developed completely differently. Our technology advanced in unexpected ways. Our society is chaotic compared to theirs. We don't fit their patterns. Mi Young found another file. This one is about something called the Guidance Protocols. It talks about subtle influence on developing species, shaping their religions, guiding their scientific discoveries, managing their expansion into space. They've been controlling alien development for thousands of years, Daeho realized. But they never controlled humans because they didn't know we existed until it was too late. The implications were staggering. Every alien species they had met, every friend they thought they had, was part of a controlled system that had existed since before human civilization began, and now humanity had stumbled into their galaxy like an unexpected variable in a carefully planned equation. "We have enough," Daeho said. "We need to get back to the ship and figure out what to do with this information." But as they prepared to leave, alarms started ringing throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors, and they could hear announcements in alien languages. "I think they found our ship," Jinwoo said grimly. The crew ran through the station's corridors trying to get back to the docking bay before it was too late. More images appeared, showing thriving alien civilizations living in harmony. It looked like a perfect galaxy where everyone lived in peace. "Every species follows this pattern," Kronvaldris said. "Every species except one." A new image appeared. Earth with humans spreading across its surface and into space. The species that calls itself human developed on a world we thought was uninhabitable. By the time we discovered them, it was too late to implement our usual protocols. They had already achieved space travel and contacted other species. They had developed outside our guidance. Murmurs ran through the chamber. The humans could see that many of the alien representatives looked worried. "This species shows dangerous characteristics," the architect continued. "Their technology advances unpredictably. Their society is chaotic and violent. They solve problems through conflict rather than cooperation. They push their technology beyond safe limits. Most concerning, they seem to inspire similar behavior in other species." One of the alien representatives stood up. The humans recognized him as Ambassador Veltar of the Veltari, someone they had considered a friend. "First speaker," Veltar said, "humans have been peaceful in their dealings with us. They honor their trade agreements and respect our territories." "Because they are still weak," Kronvaldris replied. "Our analysis shows that human expansion will accelerate rapidly. Their influence will spread chaos throughout the galactic community. Other species will begin to question the stability we have provided. The guidance protocols will fail." Another representative spoke up. This one was from the peaceful ones, a species that humans thought was naturally gentle and wise. "What do you propose, first speaker?" Kronvaldris raised one long, pale hand. "We have three options for dealing with the human problem." The chamber went completely silent. In the ventilation duct, the human crew held their breath. Option 1. Complete quarantine. We isolate human space and prevent them from contacting any other species. This would stop their influence from spreading, but it would be difficult to enforce. Images showed human space surrounded by a barrier of alien ships. Option 2. Corrective intervention. We use our influence with the species they have contacted to gradually change human development. We guide them into our system, just starting later than usual. This could work, but it would take generations and might not be effective. New images showed human society slowly changing, becoming more like the controlled alien civilizations. Option 3. Protocol 0. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some aliens seemed shocked, others nodded grimly. The humans didn't understand what Protocol 0 meant, but it clearly frightened many of the representatives. Kronvaldris waited for quiet before continuing. Protocol 0 has only been used 3 times in 50,000 years. It involves the complete elimination of a species before it can spread chaos throughout the galaxy. The humans in the ventilation duct felt their blood turn cold. The Galactic Council was calmly discussing the genocide of the entire human race. The previous uses of Protocol Zero were successful, the architect said. The affected species were removed with minimal disruption to galactic stability. In each case, the threat they posed was eliminated before it could spread. Ambassador Veltar stood again. First speaker, surely that is too extreme. Humans may be chaotic, but they are intelligent beings. They have rights. Rights? Kronvaldris asked. What rights do they have to destroy the peace that has lasted 50 millennia? What rights do they have to inspire chaos in species that have lived in harmony for thousands of years? The architect paused and looked around the chamber. I want each representative to consider this carefully. Humans are not just another species. They are a fundamental threat to everything we have built. Their very existence challenges the order that keeps the galaxy stable. More representatives began to speak. Some argued for peaceful solutions, others supported stronger action. But, as the humans listened, they realized something terrible. Most of the alien species they had considered friends were supporting some kind of action against humanity. The Kresh representative wanted immediate quarantine. The Mordani supported corrective intervention. Even species that had signed friendship treaties with Earth were calling for restrictions on human expansion. Only a few voices spoke against taking action, and they were quickly outnumbered. We will recess for 1 hour, Kronvaldris announced. When we return, each representative will cast their vote. Option 1, Option 2, or Option 3. The decision of this council will be final. As the aliens filed out of the chamber, the humans crawled back through the ventilation system to their ship. Their minds were reeling from what they had heard. They want to destroy us, Bo-Ra said, her voice shaking. Not all of them, Mi-Young said. Some want to quarantine us or change us instead. That's almost as bad, Jinwoo replied. They want to control us or eliminate us. Those are our choices. Daeho was thinking hard. We have less than an hour before they vote, and when they do, humanity's fate will be decided by people who think we're a threat to galactic peace. What do we do? Hyunwoo asked. Daeho looked at his crew, good people who had risked everything to learn the truth. Now they had knowledge that could save or doom their entire species. We get back to Earth, he said. Fast. Humanity deserves to know what's coming and deserves a chance to decide their own fate. But first, they had to escape from a station full of aliens who had just spent an hour discussing whether humans should be allowed to exist. The vote would happen soon, and whatever the council decided would determine whether the human race had a future in the galaxy. The crew of the Harmony made their way back to their ship as quickly and quietly as possible. Taimin was waiting for them in the pilot's seat, engines already warming up. How did it go? He asked as they climbed aboard. Badly, Daeho said. They're voting on whether to quarantine us, control us, or kill us all. Taimin's face went pale. All of humanity? Every last human, Jinwoo confirmed. We need to get out of here now. As the ship prepared for departure, Sojin Han, their historian, was going through the data they had collected from the station's computers. She had been quiet during the meeting, but now she looked excited despite their dangerous situation. Captain, she said, I think I understand why they're so afraid of us. Tell me, Daeho said as he helped pilot the ship out of the docking bay. Look at these development patterns, Sojin said, showing data on her screen. Every alien species follows almost identical paths. They develop agriculture at predictable rates. They discover metals in specific orders. They achieve spaceflight within narrow time frames. It's like they're all following the same instruction manual. Because they are, Mi-Young said. The Council has been guiding their development for thousands of years. Exactly, Sojin continued. But look at human development. We're completely different. We developed agriculture in multiple places at the same time. We skipped some technological steps entirely and made huge leaps in others. We achieved spaceflight much faster than any other species. Young-Soo Bae, their engineer, looked up from his workstation. That explains something I've been wondering about, he said. Our technology is actually more advanced than some of the alien species, even though we've only been in space for a few decades. What do you mean? Daeho asked. Our fusion drives are more efficient than Veltari engines, and they've had space travel for 300 years, Young-Soo explained. Our AI systems are more adaptable than anything the Kresh use. Even our weapons are more powerful than what most species carry. I thought that was because we're newer to space travel, Bo-Ra said. Newer technology is often better. That's just it, Young-Soo said. Newer isn't always better if you're following a controlled development path. The aliens have been advancing at steady, safe rates for centuries. We've been advancing at chaotic, dangerous rates for decades. Sojin pulled up more data. Look at this comparison of military technology. Human ships can push their engines 20% beyond safe limits in emergencies. Alien ships have safety systems that prevent them from doing that. Why would they limit themselves like that? Taemin asked. Because they've been taught that it's dangerous, Sojin said. For 50,000 years, the Council has been teaching species to advance slowly and safely. They've been breeding caution into entire civilizations. The implications were staggering. As the Harmony escaped from the hidden station and headed back toward human space, the crew realized that humanity wasn't just different from other species. They were fundamentally opposite to everything the Galactic Council stood for. We represent chaos, Daeho said quietly. In a galaxy that has been ordered and controlled for thousands of years, we're pure chaos. But chaos isn't always bad, Mi-young pointed out. Chaos leads to innovation, creativity, growth. All the things that make us human. Try telling that to beings who have spent 50,000 years preventing chaos, Jinwoo said grimly. 3 hours into their journey home, their sensors detected ships approaching from behind. Lots of ships. Council patrol, Jinwoo announced. 6 vessels, all different species, they're moving to intercept us. Can we outrun them? Daeho asked. Young-Soo checked their engine status. Not in normal operation, but if I push the engines beyond safe limits... Do it, Daeho ordered. This was exactly what the Council feared about humans. While alien species would accept capture, rather than risk damaging their ships, humans were willing to push their technology to dangerous extremes. Young-Soo overrode the safety systems and pushed the fusion drive to 120% of its rated capacity. The ship lurched forward with sudden acceleration that should have torn it apart. Instead, the Harmony shot away from its pursuers like an arrow from a bow. How are we still in one piece? Bo-Ra asked, gripping her chair as the ship shook. Human engineering, Young-Soo said with a grin. We build things to break before they break. Our safety margins have safety margins. The alien ships tried to follow, but their safety systems prevented them from matching the Harmony's dangerous speed. Within an hour, the human ship had escaped. They'll send a message ahead, Jinwoo warned. Other ships will try to intercept us before we reach Earth. Then we'll have to be smarter than them, Daeho said. What followed was a game of cat and mouse through space. The Harmony used every trick in the book, and some that weren't in any book. They hid behind asteroids, used solar radiation to mask their heat signature, and even flew through a dangerous nebula that no sane pilot would enter. Each time alien ships found them, the human crew responded with tactics that their enemies couldn't predict. They used their ship's weaknesses as strengths, turned desperate situations into advantages, and made decisions that seemed crazy but worked. This is why they're afraid of us, Sojin realized as they evaded another patrol. We don't follow rules. We don't stay within safe parameters. We do things that seem impossible because we're too stubborn to accept that they're impossible. After 2 days of running and hiding, they finally reached the edge of human space. Earth command ships appeared, on their sensors, and for the first time since leaving the hidden station, the crew felt safe. But their relief was short-lived. As they approached Earth, they received a message that made their blood run cold. Captain Kim, came the voice of Admiral Soo-Jin Yoon, commander of Earth's space forces. We've been receiving strange communications from our alien allies. They're saying you've committed acts of aggression against peaceful species. They want us to arrest you and turn you over to them for trial. Daeho looked at his crew. Their alien friends were already moving against them, trying to control the situation before humanity could learn the truth. Admiral, Daeho said into the communication system, we need to speak with you immediately. What we've discovered changes everything. The aliens aren't our friends. They never were. There was a long pause before the Admiral responded. Come aboard the command ship, Captain. But be aware that we have alien ambassadors here demanding your arrest. This situation is very delicate. As the Harmony docked with Earth's flagship, Daeho realized that the real battle was just beginning. They had escaped from the Council's hidden station, but now they had to convince their own leaders that everything they thought they knew about the galaxy was wrong, and somewhere behind them, the Galactic Council was finishing their vote on humanity's fate. The clock was ticking, and the future of the human race hung in the balance. The crew gathered their evidence and prepared to face what might be the most important conversation in human history. They had seen the truth behind the peaceful facade of galactic civilization. Now they had to make others see it too before it was too late. Admiral Sujin Yoon sat in the conference room aboard Earth's flagship, surrounded by her senior staff and 3 alien ambassadors. When Captain Daeho Kim and his crew entered, the tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Ambassador Veltar of the Veltari spoke first. Admiral, this human and his crew have committed serious crimes against peaceful species. They illegally entered sovereign space and stole classified information. They must be turned over to us for proper justice. Captain Kim, Admiral Yoon said, these are serious accusations. What do you have to say? Daeho looked around the room at the alien ambassadors he had once considered friends. Now he knew they were part of a system that had been controlling galactic civilization for 50,000 years. Admiral, everything we thought we knew about our place in the galaxy is wrong, he said. These aliens aren't our friends. They're part of a secret government that controls every species in the galaxy. Every species except us. The alien ambassadors looked uncomfortable. The Kresh ambassador, Dor Khan, spoke up. Admiral, the human, is clearly suffering from some kind of mental breakdown. These fantasies about secret governments are exactly the kind of dangerous thinking we warned you about. Dangerous thinking? Daeho repeated. You mean independent thinking? Admiral Yoon held up her hand for silence. Captain, these are wild claims. Do you have any proof? Daeho nodded to Hyun-woo, who activated a portable holographic projector. The recordings from the Galactic Council meeting filled the air above the conference table. The room watched in stunned silence as Kron Valdris explained the guidance protocols and discussed the 3 options for dealing with humanity. When the recording reached the part about Protocol 0, complete elimination of the human species, several Earth Command officers gasped. This is fabricated, Ambassador Veltar said quickly. Humans are known for their skill with digital manipulation. We have corroborating data, Sojin said, stepping forward. 50,000 years of records showing how every alien species has been guided and controlled. Every species except humans. She activated another display showing the development patterns they had discovered. The evidence was overwhelming. Every alien civilization had followed identical paths, made the same discoveries in the same order, developed the same social structures. Dr. Yoon Kyung-oh, Earth's leading xenobiologist, studied the data with growing amazement. This explains so much, she said. I always wondered why alien species seemed so similar despite coming from different worlds. I thought it was just convergent evolution. It wasn't evolution, Mi-young said. It was control. The Council has been shaping alien development for millennia, making sure every species develops the same way. General Dong Hyun Kang, Earth's military commander, looked at the alien ambassadors with new suspicion. Is this true? Have you been reporting on our activities to this council? The 3 aliens looked at each other nervously. Finally, Ambassador Veltar spoke. Admiral, you must understand. The guidance protocols exist for the good of all species. Unchecked development leads to chaos and destruction. So you admit it, Admiral Yoon said. You've been spying on us. Not spying, Dorkan protested. Observing, trying to understand how best to help humanity integrate into galactic civilization. By voting on whether to quarantine us, control us, or exterminate us, Daeho asked. The silence that followed was answer enough. Minister Haiwan Shin, Earth's diplomatic leader, looked pale. How long do we have? The council was voting when we left, Boraz said. By now, they've probably decided what to do about us. As if summoned by her words, alarms began ringing throughout the ship. Admiral Yoon's communication officer reported massive fleet movements throughout the galaxy. Admiral, the officer said, we're detecting hundreds of alien ships moving toward human space. Ships from every species we know, and some we don't. Admiral, Yoon looked at the alien ambassadors. Are you invading us? Not invading, Veltar said carefully. The Council has decided on corrective intervention. It's for your own good. Corrective intervention? General Kang repeated. Your species will be guided into proper development patterns, Dorkan explained. Your chaotic tendencies will be corrected. Your technology will be brought under proper oversight. Your expansion will be managed appropriately. You want to turn us into puppets, Dr. O said with disgust. We want to save you from yourselves, the third ambassador said, and save the galaxy from the chaos you would spread. The Earth Command leaders looked at each other with growing anger. The aliens they had trusted, the species they had signed, treaties with, the friends they had welcomed to Earth, all of them had been part of a conspiracy to control humanity. Get them off my ship, Admiral Yoon ordered. As security escorted the alien ambassadors away, the human leaders began planning their response. The debate was intense and emotional. Dr. O argued for diplomatic contact with the Council. We can prove that we're not a threat, she said. We can show them that chaos and creativity can coexist with peace. General Kang disagreed. They've already made up their minds. They see us as a problem to be solved. We need to prepare for war. Minister Shin had a different idea. We should tell everyone. Every human on every world needs to know what's happening. Let them decide how to respond. That could cause panic, Admiral Yoon warned. Good, Minister Shin replied. Humans fight better when they're angry. Captain Kim listened to the debate and thought about what he had seen at the council station. They're not afraid of our weapons or our ships, he said. They're afraid of our ideas. They're afraid that we'll inspire other species to break free from their control. Then maybe we should, Dr. O said quietly. The room fell silent as everyone considered her words. We could broadcast the truth to every species in the galaxy, she continued. Show them the evidence of how they've been controlled. Give them the same choice we're facing. That would be declaring war on the entire galactic order, General Kang said. Maybe the galactic order needs to be challenged, Admiral Yoon replied. As ye. They debated. Reports continued coming in about alien fleet movements. The corrective intervention was already beginning. Ships were positioning themselves around human colonies, preparing to enforce the Council's will. But something else was happening too. The message that Captain Kim's crew had broadcast during their escape was spreading through space. Some alien species were asking questions about the Galactic Council. Others were demanding answers from their leaders. The conspiracy of silence that had lasted 50,000 years was beginning to crack. Admiral, the communication officer called out. We're receiving a transmission from the Council fleet. They want to speak with you. Admiral Yoon straightened her uniform. Put them through. The holographic image of Kron Valdris appeared in the conference room. The ancient architect looked tired, but determined. Admiral Yoon, the being said, I am here to offer humanity one final chance to accept guidance peacefully. Submit to our oversight and your species will be preserved. Continue on your current path, and the consequences will be severe. Admiral Yoon looked around the room at her officers, at Captain Kim and his brave crew, at the evidence of 50,000 years of galactic oppression. First speaker, she said, humanity rejects your guidance. We choose our own path, whatever the cost. Kron Valdris nodded sadly. Then you choose chaos over order, conflict over peace. So be it. The transmission ended, and the room erupted in activity. Earth Command began mobilizing every ship, every weapon, every defense they had. Across human space, colonies received warnings to prepare for attack, but they also received something else. The truth about the galaxy they lived in, and the choice between freedom and safety that every species must eventually face. The die was cast. Humanity had chosen independence over security, chaos over control. Now they would discover if their choice would lead to liberation or destruction.